Here.
Hi.
Hello.
Good to see you guys.
Well, it's great to
And
see.
we interviewed you, Al, you and Deborah. That was great.
That was a lot of
Really
fun. And so, you were doing it for your book, which kind of in a way
Right.
broke your rules that was never to talk publicly about your marriage, the other not to work together. So now you broke the rules for the book. So I guess you decided, what the heck? Let's do it for the Double Date podcast.
Well, we had so much fun doing it. What were you going to say?
Well, the fact that you were going to be involved in this helped too. Al, you're my hero. I mean, nobody has lasted longer than you. I mean, when you think of the chaos that you have survived, and part of that chaos included me.
Well, you know what was great to be with you was to find out what a romantic you are. Aww. That's one of the interesting things about going on a double date is everybody tells the truth. They talk about themselves, and so we talked about ourselves. When we went out on to do this, Phil said, "I'm not talking about our marriage," but when Al and Deborah talk about their marriage, and all these other people talked about their marriages, we had to, and it was great. It was great fun. But Al is so romantic. He leaves notes for Deborah. She went on a trip once for 3 days, and he left 3 notes in her suitcase. I said to Phil, "You have a lot to live up to."
I think you're confusing me with somebody else.
It's so interesting. We were just talking about it, and you get the best couples. I know Viola Davis and her husband Julius Tenen. They're in the first podcast. You have this great lineup of other famous couples, and I'm wondering, do you find that because you guys are open, as you just mentioned, other couples are willing to sit down with you guys and have a conversation?
Well, I think because we're not, they didn't see us as reporters. Mm-hmm. They really saw us as another couple that were married a long time.
Well, when we shared our secrets with them, they really opened up. Yeah. And the interviews lasted longer than we expected.
Like 3 hours.
Yeah. And then when we finally left, I would say, "I'm sorry, but we really have to leave."
I can't wait to listen to it.
We cut them down to about 25. It makes a really good podcast because it's about 25 minutes, and you get a really good sense of who these people are together and why it lasts. You hear their sense of humor. You hear them finish each other's sentences. And also they talk about stuff that everybody, not everybody, but we all have certain issues, and you'll find every issue. Like Jamie Lee Curtis had an addiction problem that her husband, Christopher Guest, didn't even notice. And then it came out and how they dealt with that. And Kira Sedgwick and Kevin Bacon lost all their savings to Bernie Madoff. How do you come back from that? And oh my God, there's so many. And Allie Wentworth and George Stephanopoulos, they're funny. She talks so much about sex. And you can just see that George is like,
he's like,
"Oh God, don't do that."
What would you guys say was an underlying thread that you found throughout all the marriages? Or was there one?
If both people have to want the marriage, are interested in the marriage, if one person is, that's hard to come back
if
from.
one person, and I think we've all seen this, like one person is carrying the water of the marriage or the relationship. In these marriages that last a long time, both people are equally committed to it, and when things get tough, they don't run for the escape route. That's, I think, I would say, the most common thread. And we have, many couples who got a divorce, and when things got tough, they lost their money. God forbid they lost a child. They got sick themselves. They lost their house. That their career didn't align at the same time, and that caused friction. So many things that can cause friction in a marriage. But if you don't go through that, you'll go for the exit sign. And I think it was Tracy Paul and Michael J. Fox's wife who said, when you get through a rough time, it gives you the confidence that if we got through this, we'll get through the next one. And that's the intelligent and loving way. And of course they're all, what did Rob Reiner say? If you really want to have a happy marriage, pick a best friend you can have sex with. And I think that's a good one.
And James Carvin said, every time you find yourself in a, you said, no, I didn't, yes, I did. You've got to say, let's kick that can down the road.
And that's a very helpful.
Yeah, it sounds simple, but don't drag out the things that trouble you.
And they're useless. They go around and around in a circle. But if they're a really big thing, then you have to sit down and talk it out. And I think that was something that Ted Danson and Mary Steenburgen talked about.
And your marriage is strengthened if you sleep tushy to tushy. I'll never forget that.
There you go.
I didn't see that coming.
Oh, somehow I could sense it. Thank you. Marlo and Phil, it's always great having you guys. Thanks so much. Double Date episodes will be available on all your major podcasting platforms starting on Monday, March 8th. And you can listen to the first episode at today.com. Guys, thanks.
Such a phenomenal idea.
Thank you, Al. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thanks,
up
Marla.
next,
Thanks,
it's
Phil.
Spring cleaning
Oh,
for your
awesome.
personal life. How to handle toxic
Congratulations.
relationships and improve your mental health. Not like those folks. And then tomorrow, Joy Bauer is going to do the impossible. She is going to make healthier fast food. Buckle up for our drive-through edition of Cheat Day Friday. We'll be right